Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my special report. Get the umbrella, it's about to hit the fan. We've got a nasty astrology lineup that's fueling U.S. election challenges, fueling global tensions. I am an optimist by nature. I'm still always trying to look at how we're going to make lemonade, and I do talk a lot about that in an upcoming report called Celestial Mosh Pit, where I go into the challenging aspects of November with a different, through a different lens. And this is also a supplement to my November horoscopes. And overall, there's so much positive, so much uplifting energy in this month. But this particular series of aspects, and because of the timing of other challenges going on, I just wanted to highlight it so that you can understand it better. Okay, so we've got a few main things that are creating this perfect storm during the time we already have many global tensions, including, and very close on my mind is the U.S. elections. The races seem to be getting, increasingly more nasty. Everyone, you can feel the tensions rising, and it is going to get worse. So I'm not a fearmonger, but these are really nasty aspects and you need to know about it. And I want you to understand it through the context of what's happening so that you can make the best decisions for yourself as these energies come up. The first thing to know is that although we had that eclipse on October 2nd, a month after an eclipse, there's a hot spot. Like there's a window in that time where sometimes things bubble out. So we have like an eclipse hangover. All right. And so this is one of the currents that are affecting our astrological climate right now. Probably the biggest thing, though, is this Pluto opposing Mars. Pluto in Capricorn, 29 degrees, really important degree. This, Pluto imminently getting ready to go in Aquarius for good for a very, very long time. This is a very critical degree. Our country, the United States, has been very much linked to things going on. World events have been really linked to this degree. COVID-related things, a lot of things are related to this teeter-totter between Pluto in Capricorn and Pluto in Aquarius. And now with Mars opposing for the first of 3 times, the second time will be like around New Year's, the days around 12/31, and then it will happen again towards the end of April. All right, because since Mars is in retrograde, it's moving forward and opposing Pluto. Then it will go retrograde and pass back over a point where it's connected. And then when it goes direct, it will go back over again. All right, so we've got a storyline that is not only going to be present this month, there are going to be afterquakes that occur. And, this is something to be really aware of. Of course, the days around the 31st, tend to be inauguration time. There's a storyline here, I'm just kind of relating it to examples with the U.S. elections, but this timeline can be applied to any of the global tensions. There's something happening here. Now, this aspect is official on the days around November 2nd, 3rd, depending on your time zone, but we are feeling this at least 7 to 10 days before. So this October 26th, it might have started to get stronger. Certainly you can see influence before and after the 7 to 10 days, but, you'll feel the tensions building, and the closer you get to November 3rd, the more intense. And then 10 days after, November 13th, this is a several-week window where the god of war, Mars, is combating directly with the god of the underworld. And you'll be feeling that. You'll be feeling that in your personal relationships. You'll be feeling it at work. You'll be feeling it in your inner world. This tumult within yourself, this trying to get to some balance. This struggle, this duality, this polarization. This is a very polarizing aspect. And if you know my work, you know that I don't get into politics, and I'm not going to get into politics now. That is not my place where I serve, okay? So I have no judgment on that type of analysis. That's just not the place where I shine. Where I focus is really the common strands that we experience as humans and the things that unify us, the things that we experience together. So while there are going to be polarized groups of people that feel like they are at odds with each other, this is more a story about humanity pushing through the limitations of the swinging pendulum of the belief in polarized experience. With these types of transits, there's always the chance for a breakthrough. And of course, I'm hoping for that breakthrough where we can lift above, transcend the tensions, transcend the swing back and forth. But that process, probably not going to be pretty, possibly could be violent, can definitely be dangerous. Add to this, okay, so we've got the aspect itself, the Mars-Pluto. Add to this, we've got Mars in retrograde, starting officially December 6th, but the pre-shadow period started October 7th. So now, at the end of October into November, we are well within the domain of the types of things that Mars retrograde brings. And what does it bring? Anger up from the surface, frustrations, repressed energies, suppressed feelings. That's part of why the crap is going to hit the fan, because it's coming out from the inside. And if you have groups of people unified against each other, each person's individual tumult is then getting magnified, amplified by this aspect, and it's really nasty. So you may have already been feeling it. You may already start seeing like fighting and arguments just within your household, with your partner, with your boss, with your employees, within yourself, conflicts, feeling like you're being pulled in two different directions. This feeling of just like having to be in two places at once, but feeling the impossibility of that. We do have a highlight on Capricorn, which is out in the world, and Cancer is home and family, like work out in the world, or just your place out in the world and your place at home. Logic versus intuition. There's this pull, and basically, energetically, what it winds up being is very much the battle of faith and fear. And there are many philosophers and spiritual teachers who would suggest that really is the only fight between faith and fear, and that we are reliving that individually and projecting that out as groups. Important things to know about this energy, especially with Mars retrograde: any aggression that you put out, even if you feel justified, even if you are right or feel like you are right, it boomerangs back. So if you think I'm just going to flip this person off because I'm driving, or you think I'm going to just get my aggression out through a passive-aggressive tone of voice, or you think I'm going to tell this person what I think, and this may, whatever it is, it will tend to boomerang back. So that's a really important thing to know. Things you may have gotten away with before, or maybe you're a person that's never even done this and it's just become all too much. If you are the one that instigates any warlike behavior, whether it's actual war, with weapons, or whether it's verbal weapons, this is something that will very likely swing back to you. This is a time for inner work. This is a time, this retrograde is saying, you have these feelings inside of you, using productive means, exercise, counseling, therapy of all kinds, inner work, of all kinds. Basically, write a letter that has all the terrible things you want to say, and then delete it or rip it up. It's not really an option to repress it at this point. It's just a matter, and this is the big story of why I wanted to record this, it's a matter of what you're going to do with it. And if you feel like what you're going to do with it is take it out in a violent act, even if it seems innocent, even if it seems supported, even if it seems inspired, it's not the time to do that. And, quick retribution, very bad lasting negative effects can come out. And this can be on a very small scale up to a very big scale. So that's all happening. Plus we've got a ton of energy in Scorpio. And this is, Scorpio, this is a very scorpionic experience. Pluto and Mars. Mars is a co-ruler of Scorpio. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. And so these planets that rule Scorpio are at odds with each other. And they're generally at odds in general themselves. So we've got Mercury there at this time still, 29th degree, very extreme energy. It is in a nice angle with Pluto, and that does give some possibilities for getting to accord, especially if you do the right thing with the energy. But this is a very deep, very emotional, it is the abyss where all of this stuff lives. Ancestral gunk, things from this lifetime, things from your relationships, the pile up of stuff gets to just be too much. Okay, so I'm hoping that therapists are going to have their phones ringing off the hook, that people are going to be choosing, these types of methods to deal with it, because it's really, really heavy. But of course, with the release of it, gives the opportunity for healing. And we do have, I'm not going to go, into all of the things going on, but we do actually have a beautiful a sextile, which is also a great aspect, with Chiron conjunct Eris, two very intense planets, and Jupiter. So there's a nice angle there that's kind of supporting us through this. There is a lot of beautiful energy this month. But this energy of polarization is going to be very profoundly stoked, the fires, the flames. And so if you're a person that's going to have a decision to make in your personal, in your community, in your country, in your, in the world, to make a decision about what to do at this time with these tensions, the astrology says the answer is seek healing and seek transcendence, and do the inner work that's required to not suppress and repress this. You won't be able to do that, and that's not indicated. But to really actually heal it, and to not have it come out as venom. Inevitably, it's probably going to come out as venom, but if you put it out as venom into therapy or into writing, and then you rip it up, or whatever it is, it won't poison anyone on the way out, and it will leave you feeling much better, and in a position to be able to make good choices with the options that may come up at this point. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the nuisance aspects of this month. When my video that is about to be released called Celestial Mosh Pit is going to go into a number of nuisance aspects that are kind of lighting up in between what is overall, in many ways, a much lighter astrological picture than we've had in October. But I do want to mention that we will also have the full moon in the days around November 15th. We'll have the full moon conjunct Uranus. See, the moon will come around, be over here, oppose the sun. And, surprises, shock and awe. So this is like the first half of the month has this lineup of just one of the layers that's happening in this month. Is this angstiness. And then Mars retrograde is getting deeper. This can also tell a storyline of multiple weeks of, dissatisfaction from the end result of whatever the election is. So, and the chance for violence. So if anybody within the sound of this recording has to make the choice to be aggressive or to be violent, please let this understanding of this profile and the boomerang and how there's inner work and how things need to be healed, but that violent action is going to really bring major things back to you if you make that choice at this time. And Mars retrograde is really actually the worst time of all transits to start a war with somebody, whether it's small or large, or to put aggressive action out, because it can very dangerously come back at you. Now, if you're not in a safe place already, try to get to a safe place before these energies hit. It kind of reminds me of the energy of the monster storms that we've been experiencing down here in the southeast. I was hit by 2 hurricanes in my area, 10-foot storm surge, after, record flooding. And I know a lot of people in this area and north of us have been really hit by this. So what's reminding me of this, the comparison to make, is that a storm is brewing here. Right now, things may have already started, the crap may have already started to hit the fan. You may be feeling the tensions build, but for some of you, it could just seem perfectly normal. When we were getting ready to try to evacuate for this hurricane, everything was so oddly, calm, and there were barely any rain bands or wind bands before the boom really started to come, and you could really get lulled into a false sense of security, that about the destructive nature of that storm. And what was indicated for us to do was to get out of the way. So in some cases, of what you'll see in the next upcoming weeks. You may have to get out of the way of the storm that is brewing. If that is the safest thing for you, get a plan and get out of the way. In the defensive art of Aikido, the Aikido master uses the aggression of the attacker against that person. And if you ever watch any videos of Aikido masters, sometimes very small people, small in stature, with a flick of a wrist, will send people very, much bigger people flying across the room. This is the power of turning the energy of someone that someone puts at you against them. And this is what the planets, the stars may do at this time. So if you are making that aggressive action, then the universe with a flip of wrist will probably direct that right back at you. So it's not the best way to do it. And if someone's already agitated or dangerous, they will very likely become more so. So it's not a good time to trust that if there's some sort of calm or some sort of peace or accord, that you're in a safe space, because things are definitely going to get nasty here. I'm definitely not telling you this to scare you. I'm an optimist by nature. If you know my work, then you know this. I focus on making lemonade. And in fact, in my Celestial Mosh Pit video, I talk about how to make lemonade, how to use these energies. I give some specific tips and ideas of how to stay cool during the tensions. And you can also listen to that. And really, the November reports in general, besides these aspects, are super positive and super open for just, a lot of positive change and a lot more flow than we've been having. But this is another current that's weaving into our experience. It's kind of when you're at the beach, if you ever feel like, oh, there's a really cold current. Ooh, this one's warmer, but when your arm is in one current and your leg is in the other one. And so you're experiencing both currents at once, but they're both present, and it's part of the whole picture. That's what this is like. This is one of the currents that has multiple layers. That's part of a picture that's bigger than this, that has other factors. So if you want to be more uplifted and you want to, get back around now that you've been thoroughly, warned of the danger, and also given an opportunity to understand what's happening here, now you can listen to my other reports, my November horoscopes for each sign. For the podcast listeners, you can just scroll back in time. They're very recently posted. YouTube friends, you can just go to my YouTube channel. I have a November playlist, or my current playlist, and you can get the November reports. And they are much more uplifting. So if you feel upset or worried from hearing this, you can listen to those and kind of, put it in context with the rest of the energy of the month. If you want personalized reports from my viewpoint, go to AnnieBClarity.com, Annie, the letter B, Clarity.com. If you want more free stuff from me, join my free VIP community, see my other offerings, go to AnnieHelpsYou.com. If you want to learn astrology, see my astrology certification course at beastropro.com, beastropro.com. I will hold the vision with you that everyone within the sound of my voice will have as a smooth of a time as possible, and that the awareness that I'm giving you to understand this may help you to make the best possible decisions to bring peace within yourself and peace outside in a time of great tumult. Inspiration that this aspect can be a catalyst to be the change that we want to see in the world.